Well, how you do, Buckaroos? And how the heck are you? I apologize for starting late or early, depending on your point of view, anyways. But I did start the video a little bit later than intended. So happy Pride Month as we enter June now. Let's wish all the homophobes a very uncomfortable month as they try to rename it something else. Got a good friend. I don't want to mention his name here, but I did 20 years in the military, and somebody mentioned to him the other day about say Pride Month that it should be something else. And he says, "Well, May was National Military Month, so you didn't say nothing about that then." Of course, he didn't tell them. He didn't tell them that he was his that he retired after 20 years in the Air Force. He didn't tell them that because they, of course, quit back. Well, did you spend any time in the military? And he did not let him know because if to him it was irrelevant. What they were talking about just didn't make any sense. So anyway, yeah, happy Pride Month, and well, it is very interesting because you got the homophobes that are gonna, piss their pants and get all wound up about this, that, and the other. Well, why don't we have a straight month? Well, because we're not. We don't have a white Pride Month because we're not being persecuted. You assholes, are you really that fucking dense? Oh, straight white folks are not being persecuted. We had never have been in this country, so let it go, man. uh, Pride Month isn't necessarily about being proud. It's more about necessity that they've been able to persevere and still be here, regardless of the ignorance that we are now surrounded by once again. So I wanted to come up with a cocktail, and so I had an idea. I want to call this. I want to call this. Stonewall Sour. But if the folks at Stonewall take offense, I'll take that name down because I'm sure there's other cocktails by that name. So what I've done with this one though, I didn't have a New York whiskey. I wish I did, but so I used a rye, which is very New York. So I used the Switchgrass, which is a St. Louis whiskey, St. Louis rye, but it is a bottled and bond 4-year-old 100 proof rye. I use 1 ounce of lime juice, but to change the game just slightly, I use this candied orange liqueur from Tiyakida in Springfield, Missouri here. So I use the orange liqueur, lime juice, and then not an egg foamer. I use the Fee Brothers foamer to get that nice foam on top, as you see, to kind of change it up just a little bit. Now we'll get it with an egg at some point, but I had this handy. I thought this would be a nice cocktail. I used an elegant glass because I feel like it deserved an elegant glass. So it's a slight twist. It's a slight twist on a Boston sour. But I want to call it Stonewall Sour. But again, if the folks of Stonewall take offense, I will take that name out. But I do it with great respect to everybody out there. I like this cocktail. I'm going to take my garnish down though, so I can drink the cocktail more effectively. So I can drink that cocktail more effectively. Take that garnish out the game. Anyway, Slancha. Uh, this is very nice. Yeah, one of the reasons I wanted to add that orange, so I typically whiskey sour, lemon juice, and/or lime juice. But I had the lime juice. I didn't put lemon juice in this one because I had that lime there. But I wanted to use that orange for a different kind of citrus feel and add just a little bit of sweetness because I didn't add a simple to it. I used the candied orange as my sweetener there. And quite frankly, for me, the cocktail's sweet enough. Some of you might want it sweeter, but for me, it's right at perfect. But I wanted to do the foam, right? I wanted to have the foam on there. Now, I wanted to use an elegant glass. My wife just recently found me this glass at a thrift store, I do believe. I think I used all my foam, so a little bit of foam left. I'll pour the rest over the top. My glass was full earlier, so I had to stop pouring, but there we go. I put that little bit of foam back on top. There we go, man. Isn't that gorgeous? anyways, I digress. So I'm gonna finish this up and call it a night. But I was waiting for it to get to, well, midnight, so I could do the first video for Pride Month, because most of us, well, I think all of us, only there are those homophobes that won't claim, but I think everybody has friends and family in the LGBTQ community that we should support. And if we don't, shame on us. I'm not sure why this particular administration has taken aim at the trans community, especially right now. I think that it feels like, to me anyway, they're trying to drive a wedge between the trans community and the LGBTQ community. The rest of them try to drive a wedge to make them outcasts so they can take care of them first, and then they're going to come after the rest of the community, which is, very much out of the Nazi playbook, which is what this particular administration seems to be using as a playbook. Anyway, it's bizarre that people are still following this ignorant individual, but nevertheless, here we are. We are in the midst of the most corrupt, inept administration in our history, and you got people that are okay with it because they're not being heard at this particular moment. And that's the logic that just baffles me, because if you can hurt one of us, you can hurt all of us, and I'm not sure why some aren't able to see that. You've got some so blinded by their ignorance and hatred and bigotry, they're just going after those folks. They're not, that's not bothering. At some point, they're going to come after you, you ignorant sons of bitches. And by then, it's going to be too late. Anyways, I digress. I don't want to make it political, but I don't know. In some ways, it has to be at this point. We've got to take a stand. We've got to do the right thing. And using a religious book to justify your bigotry is not doing the right thing. That's just amplifying the ignorance and hatred. So, anyways, that's all I got. That's all I got, man. I would like to call this the Stonewall Sour, but if folks at the Stonewall get wind of this video, you want me to cease and desist, I will, out of respect for you. But until then, I do want to call it that, because I do want to pay homage to you. So, anyways, I am Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor wisdom, all around good guy. Well, from my point of view, anyway. From others, maybe not so much. Cilantro. It's a really nice glass. I'm not sure if that's a martini glass or a cordial glass. It's not quite a Nick and Nora. It's probably closer to a martini glass, but I'm definitely gonna use this for a Manhattan at some point, because I like the glass, man. Anyways, now I'm gonna call it an evening or a morning or whatever it is. Sludge, have a good one, guys.